It's just like, you just want to just go say, okay, go see this film, and that's it. Because I went into it cold. I don't watch trailers anymore because they give away too much of the movie and frequently the ending. And even, I didn't even see the poster. I just went in.
Where did you see it?
I saw this at the Toronto Film Festival.
Oh, yeah, good.
So I was just walking in. I actually heard one thing going into line. I'm like, no, but, and I'm surprised at everything that happened. And one of the things that makes this movie so intense is the fact that everything's so soft-spoken, everything's easy-going, and then even the music, and then boom, they hit you with it. You know what I mean? They hit you with the violence in general. But listen to me doing all the talking here. Is I don't think the violence in the latter part of the movie was that excessive, because I think everybody has a boiling point, and I think there's something that they reach it, and then it's unleashed in anybody.
Well, the violence, I think, is not, compared to movies these days that have violence in them, it's minimal in the sense that it doesn't last very long. It's shown in a very matter-of-fact way. I think, though, that because it's done in that matter-of-fact way, it's just, this is what it is. This is what it looks like, and this is what it looks like. These are the consequences. Without dressing it up in terms of camera work or lighting or anything, or making it last too incredibly long or anything, it makes it more disturbing that it's that way. And but I think the whole style of the movie, I think it's really genius that David chose to shoot the movie in the way he did, encouraged us to behave in the way we did as characters. There's something that in most of his movies that happens to me when I watch them, and this one the same, even though I'd been in it the first few minutes, I'm thinking, what's going on here? Nothing's going on. Well, something's happening. I don't know. I mean, it is David Cronenberg. It's bound to be pretty good, but I don't see where this is going at all. A couple of minutes, right? Then all of a sudden, it starts taking off. It's like a piece of music that starts building, or a locomotive that starts going. And once it gets going, it just keeps picking up steam, picking up speed, and force, and energy, and emotion, and you just can't even keep up with all the change. You can, but you can't just sit there. There's not a lull once it gets going where you can sort of analyze. It's just the movie finishes and you're sitting there going, oh my God, what just happened? All right, I got to talk about this. And most people, most movies you see, you don't really have a hell of a lot to talk about afterwards. Yeah. In this case, you really do. And even the next day, you might call someone and go, I was saying that to you last night, but actually I changed my mind completely. There's another way to look at it. You know what I mean? It really gets you going.
Now, these characters are so deep and rich, and they have such great arcs. Is it like the perfect role for an actor? I mean,
I would say that it was the perfect, or as close as you can have, to the perfect working experience for an actor, because he is so good at communicating. David Cronenberg, the director, preparing everyone before you start shooting to answer as many questions as possible, his own and yours, so that you don't waste time doing that on the set. So on the set, everybody's completely focused, knows, that what the story's meant to be, and then can fill in all the details. He does the same thing with the script. He just, shaves away here, shaves away there, makes it this lean, no-frills script. And then we start shooting it, and within that seeming plainness on the surface of behavior, you can fill in all, as you can see, there's all this subtlety of behavior that has to do with anybody in society, and these people in the story no less, keeping secrets. And what is this sort of cumulative, result of keeping secrets? Sometimes, it causes you trouble, it causes grief, sometimes it causes a family to break up or to be threatened, by being broken up, because people seem different all of a sudden. Someone you thought you knew so well, maybe you don't know so well. It just asks so many questions, just about asserting yourself. How do you fit in the world? Stand up for yourself as an individual, whether you're a little kid, and you see it happening with our kids in the story, whether you're a wife, a husband. How do you stand up for yourself but not offend others, not trample on their right to express themselves? That's like an ongoing struggle for people. It always will be. That's what's called society, and I think that Cronenberg is a really astute student of society.
This is my favorite film of the year.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.